Dave Hamer is a photojournalist, an artist whose masterpieces are a tapestry woven from words and sound and pictures. Dave is a storyteller.
He wore a single feather at the back of his head.
One of the best.
The Black Hills of South Dakota, 1984.
He was a writer, he was a photographer. They say he invented the cutaway.
Dave will tell you, his students will tell you, even his wife will tell you. Every story has a beginning.
It is sometime between the years of 1840 and 1845 in the Paha Sapa.
Middle and an end.
Beginning, middle, end. It's that simple.
Beginning, middle, and end.
That there must be a beginning and an end and something in the middle.
Dave's story begins in 1930 on a farm outside Wayne, Nebraska. A little place called Sleepy Hollow, the coldest night of the winter. A beautiful mother, a father who emigrated from Wales. The family moved to town when Dave was 13. Dave got a degree in business administration from Wayne State, went to work for Cobb Olson at the Wayne Photo Company, and joined the National Guard. Dave married Verla in 1952. They've been married 57 years.
He had a career that was exciting to me. I was always excited about his job. I think I just got the right guy at the right time.
In 1956, Dave sent a pack of 8x10 glossies to KVTV Channel 9 in Sioux City, hoping for a job in the fledgling television news business.
The next day I knew they called and said, could you come in for an interview? Finished the interview and they hired me the same day.
In 1957, Dave landed a job at KETV Channel 7 in Omaha. He helped sign the station on the air. Television news was in its infancy.
He really invented television news, and it was just a privilege to work with him and watch him work. I learned the business from Dave Hamer.
I've always thought that those of us involved in local television in the 50s and 60s and even into the 70s had a big hand in inventing local television news.
A little more than a year later, Dave applied for a position at KMTV. He was told they didn't hire people from competing stations. So Dave quit his job at Channel 7 and went to work for a PR firm in Chicago. The money was good, but sitting behind a desk wasn't for him. Dave went after that KMTV job again. This time, he got it.
The moment of truth was when I had to write the 10 o'clock news on Sunday night, which Floyd Kalber read on the air. And Floyd was, he was God in Omaha television at that time.
Dave went to work at WOWT in 1981.
They came right along here from Omaha to Elkhorn.
And before retiring 10 years later, he produced 26 documentaries, often teaming up with anchorman Gary Kerr.
We were lucky that he stayed in this community, in this area. You know, the city of Omaha, the surrounding area, is better off because of having Dave Hamer in television news here.
Dave's television news career spanned 35 years. He covered Charlie Starkweather's murderous rampage and the first Gulf War. He was the first local television journalist in Vietnam. His stories took him to 40 states and 10 foreign countries. He walked with 10 presidents, as Dave likes to say, backwards, with a camera up to my face.
I think everybody who cast their lot with local television, at least in the Midwest, in those early days, did it because it was something they really wanted to do.
From Omaha, another workshop co-director, Dave Hamer.
Dave made a mark nationally in his work with the National Press Photographers Association. He served as NPPA president and received the organization's highest honor, the Sprague Award. Dave invented the NPPA TV clip contest and started the Airborne Seminar. He was the co-director of the Television News Video Workshop and was a member of the faculty for 20 years. Dave taught television news at the University of Nebraska at Omaha for 10 years. He's proud of his students and the news interns he thought of as his news kids.
A lot of the kids that went through my class are still on local television here. I see them every so often. And I always remind them, beginning, middle, end, be a storyteller.
Because of his willingness to share his talents, Dave's impact on television news will continue for generations.
I mean, there's no way I am where I am today without Dave Hamer. What would Dave Hamer do? I mean,
Dave and Verla had 2 sons, Dennis and Roger. Roger followed in his dad's footsteps. He has Dave's old job at WOWT and his teaching position at UNO.
Are you proud of him?
Oh, God. Yeah. You know, I've always said that if I could be, you know, half the person he is, that I'd be a great person. I'm working to get there, but sooner or later, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, how can you not be?
As Dave collected stories, he became a collector of cameras. Hundreds of still and movie cameras line the walls of his basement retreat. Among his favorites, a 1923 Kodak 16mm movie camera. A man gave it to him for free. He just wanted it to have a good home.
Can you imagine covering a news story with that?
Dave could have chosen to leave Omaha. Many of his friends and colleagues, like Floyd Kalber and Tom Brokaw, went to the network. Many urged him to come along. There were offers, but in the end, Dave and Verla chose family and lifestyle over the big time.
I had no regrets. I would do it all over again in a minute.
Those who worked with him, those he taught, those he covered, all held Dave Hamer in high esteem.
He never had a bad word to say about anybody. That he worked with, worked against, did a story with. I don't ever recall him saying, I don't like working with so-and-so because blank. Never.
So, every story has a beginning, middle, and an end. And Dave will tell you the beginning is hard. The middle usually writes itself. But the ending? That's a tough one. One of Dave's favorite documentaries is Crazy Horse, The Last Warrior. He produced it for WOWT in 1984. Dave was shooting a segment on the Crazy Horse Monument in the Black Hills of South Dakota. He planned to go up the mountain with the sculptor's widow. At the last minute, she backed out, opting to send her son, Casimir, instead.
And the next morning, he's taking me up in the old pickup truck to the top of the mountain, and he said maybe 6 more words. And I'm thinking, we got a problem. This is going to be a very, very difficult story to do. We got to the mountaintop.
It's pretty slick, that old gravel just...
And he was showing me around, and I had a microphone on him, and I had the camera on my shoulder. And I said, tell me about your dad. Tell me about your dad. And he started, and he couldn't stop.
He left us a letter that he wrote in 1952, and we never saw it until after he died. And he said in that letter that you don't have to do this, but...
if you take up this work, never let it go.
And we've taken it up, and I'll be damned if I'll ever let it go.
And I said to myself, I got a story.